October 18, 1976, was the darkest day in the history of Baocheng Railway. That cruel afternoon, it also became a wound that we never want to touch in our hearts. So why say so? Let's go back to the day of the incident, in the afternoon of October 18, 1976. A freight train 1111 was carrying a large amount of riches, year-on, and 620 tons of diesel and gasoline and other goods. The total weight of freight train 1111 reached 2,452 tons. At this time the train was traveling at high speed on the Baocheng Railroad in Baishuijiang Fenjiaba section of the railroad. This train is freight train number 1111 from Baoji to Chengdu. This train consists of 36 cars. In the 70s, train tickets were quite expensive for the average family, was still quite expensive, so if you wanted to travel, many people hit on the passing trains, wanted to take a free train, and the so-called free is the bus. 1111 freight train is no exception. On that day, 41 local villagers successfully boarded the train by bus. They were scattered among the wagon cars. Some sat on the roof of the train. Some hid between the gaps of the freight train. They were going to Chengdu to visit their relatives. However, the villagers of these buses did not realize, this time, bus is the most wrong thing they have done in their lives, because this was a train to hell. At 2:52 p.m. Freight train 1111 had passed through tunnel 139. The train ahead of us will pass through a tunnel numbered 140. It is important to mention here, on that day, the railroad construction team located in the section of Baishuijiang Fenjiaba 140 tunnel is carrying out intense railroad repair work according to the safety accident prevention regulations. Guards in the 140 tunnel inlet from 2 kilometers away, a warning sign was placed. It says construction work ahead, please slow down to 20 kilometers per hour. Another 500 meters away from the tunnel entrance, another sign was placed. It says tunnel construction, please slow down to 5 kilometers per hour. 2 warning signs were put up. Because the train deceleration inertia is too large, let the driver slow down in advance to ensure that the train can pass at a slow speed of about 15 km. The construction section of the railroad, around 3 p.m. The railroad compound park received a dispatch call from Baishuijiang station. Freight train number 1111 will pass through Baishuijiang in 5 minutes. Shuijiang station, it is expected to arrive at the construction tunnel in 10 minutes. The chemical park was informed of the upcoming train passage immediately using a loudspeaker. 3 times to shout at the construction workers, stop work immediately, move out of the way. About 8 minutes later, freight train 1111 is coming from Baishuijiang, about to reach tunnel 140, when passing the first slowdown sign. Somehow the train had no intention of slowing down. At this point the train was traveling at a speed of 80 km/h. The forest rangers outside the tunnel noticed the train did not show any signs of slowing down. They had to shout from the side of the tunnel with their horns, trying to make the train slow down. However, the roar of the train was too loud. The driver inside the cab didn't hear the shouting. That day, workers only repaired 2/3 of the iron installed on the soft soil is not yet strong. It could not withstand the pressure of the train, the pressure from the high-speed passage. The caretaker rushed to pick up the walkie-talkie to the railroad safety officer to inform the emergency. At this moment, the front end of train 1111 had already entered the south side of tunnel 140. Upon receiving the message, the safety officer immediately waved the yellow flag in his hand, signaling the train to slow down. However, the driver of the train still did not say anything about it. Seeing that the driver still did not slow down, the safety officer hurriedly, immediately replaced the flag in his hand with a red flag indicating the highest danger signal, waved it as hard as he could. This time the driver finally saw. At this time the front of the train has just left the tunnel. The driver immediately took the emergency brake. But because the train was going too fast, it was impossible to stop immediately. With the emergency braking of the train, the powerful inertia of the train made a large amount of gasoline and diesel spilled all over the tunnel. Together with the soft soil caused part of the carriage derailment, and the strong impact between the carriages damaged the electric car contact network in the tunnel. Sparks emerged. These sparks in turn ignited the number 11 gasoline. Ejected from the carriages, gasoline vapors. In an instant the whole tunnel was in flames. The gasoline-filled car burst open completely. At the same time detonated several other carriages with diesel and other flammable materials. 620 tons of different flammable fuel on the train. In an instant at the same time generated an explosion with a series of loud sounds in the tunnel. At once meters of flames and smoke came out. The gasoline ejected ignited the trees on the mountain and even flowed into the nearby Jialing River. A magnificent sea of fire was formed at that moment. The flames rushed to the sky and thundered loudly. Even the Jialing River was also dyed into a sea of fire due to the weight of combustible materials scattered in the tunnel is large. The relevant authorities quickly issued a full blockade of the tunnel, to put sandbags in the tunnel to put out the fire of the order. The Baocheng Railway was also suspended from that day onwards. After waiting for about 14 days, the fire in the tunnel due to lack of oxygen gradually extinguished 16 days after the accident. Baocheng Railway finally resumed operation after the accident. Statistics: a total of 34 railroad workers died on the spot. Another 41 villagers who were riding on the train died. The cause of the accident was that the train was passing through the maintenance section. Speeding 11 times. Yao, the driver of the train, was arrested by the public security authorities according to law, was transferred to the judicial organs for prosecution. Baoji City Railway Bureau on the deputy driver Ji Mao, Jia major punishment once. At the same time the superior to the Baoji City Branch Standing Committee Secretary Ho Mao, Baoji Locomotive Section Party Secretary Zhenmu, Operation Director Qin Mao and others are respectively carried out serious treatment in order to forever commemorate this accident. October 1977. Xi'an Railway Bureau renamed Tunnel No. 140 as Fenjiaba Tunnel No. 1. Let everyone always remember this blood lesson. The alarm bell will always ring for safe drive.